The ruling class requires your consent to concoct conspiracies against you. This hidden truth has always been known to a select few, the benevolent spiritual leaders of the world. Both the malevolent and the benevolent understand a fundamental principle, and the latter have shared this with us for quite some time. They do not want you to be aware of this. We live in a holographic reality, where the mind shapes our perception of reality. Thus, this is not simply a natural physical realm, but one that depends on observation, as quantum physics currently suggests. According to this theory, God is dreaming our existence, and if we become aware within that dream, we can influence its course. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The hidden elite understands that we live in a simulation. Therefore, they employ predictive programming to steer events as they desire. They recognize that this is not a natural physical reality. The Moral and Dogma of the 33rd Degree of Freemasonry by Albert Pike eloquently states all this. The blind force of the people is a force that must be harnessed and managed, just like the blind force of steam, which powers mighty machines and delicate crafts alike, but only under the guidance of intelligence. The masses possess formidable power, but the hidden elite believes they lack intelligence. Therefore, they feel compelled to guide the masses to their predetermined ends. However, the elites cannot act without your consent. Your consent is indispensable for their domination over you to materialize. To effect significant change in collective reality, collective consent is imperative. That's why there is an abundance of propaganda. Politicians endlessly repeat lies, understanding the power of repetition. They know that through relentless repetition, a seed will be planted in unsuspecting minds, and those unsuspecting minds will consent out of naivety. There is nothing to fear. If this video induces fear in you, know that they only exert power over you if you grant it. For if they truly possessed such power, they would have already established absolute totalitarian control over the world. This secret group, though ancient and few in number, is powerful in knowledge. They need your consent to achieve global domination because your mind shapes collective reality. They cannot do this without you. Therefore, the deepest message of this video frees you from this illusion. You are the master and authority in your own reality, and collectively, we have immense power. However, certain self-centered individuals have manipulated the system to perpetuate their power indefinitely, and can only do so by keeping the masses ignorant of their inherent divine power. This is a simulation of the mind, a dream within the mind of the all, as suggested by Hermetic teachings. We all possess the divine power of speech and thought to manifest our desires both individually and collectively as a human race. As the Hermetic maxim goes, man is given the gift of speech and thought, making him equal to the immortals. That's why the established powers are determined to keep this information away from you, employing endless propaganda, wars, and deliberate economic collapses to perpetuate global instability, ensuring you remain in a perpetual state of survival, thus preventing you from asking deeper questions. This video aims to free your mind from all dogmas, manipulations, and predictive programming that have been done to you. The purpose of this video is to reclaim your power in your personal life and contribute your part to the collective, bringing a bright future for humanity as a whole. As a result, these few elite families that have ruled for so long will no longer rule, for you will have withdrawn your consent to give them what they desire, refusing to play their games of war and endless false flags. If every soldier awakens and refuses to participate in war, who will fight then? Don't you see that they need you to do their dirty work? Since their plan is not harmonious with what is good for humanity, they need to manipulate the masses into agreeing with it subconsciously. As Neville Goddard said, it would be foolish to say that this law does not work negatively, for it does. Neville warned us to always apply the golden rule, that is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The reason for this is that if you imagine evil for another, and they do not accept your suggestion subconsciously, it will return to you. For example, if you wish illness upon another person, and that person holds strong beliefs about their health, leading a healthy life filled with vitality, they will reject your suggestion subconsciously, as it does not resonate with the consciousness of illness. And because you violated the golden rule, you will suffer the consequences you wished upon another. Therefore, this secret group desperately wants you to agree with their plans to avoid the consequences of the Golden Rule. That's why they always reveal their plans in advance in movies, books, music, and news in secret ways to silently pass them into your subconscious. If you do not consent, their plans will be their downfall. That's why they want to keep everyone ignorant of the real knowledge of this reality, so you remain eternally submissive to them. To free yourself from the simulation, you need to understand the ancient and simple truth. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This phrase put me on this path of self-discovery, which I found through these 3 books. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. By the way, you can read these books in about 40 minutes in summarized format. The summarized format extracts the most valuable excerpts from popular nonfiction books, meticulously preserving the integrity of the teachings. It's the best way to increase your understanding in a short time. There is an audio version available for each book, so you can listen while exercising or driving to work. At this point, the question may arise, how can I know this is a simulation in a natural physical world? Coincidences should be the exception and not the norm. Yet in the past year, I have seen repeated numbers like 1, 1, 1, 1 with a frequency I can no longer ignore. Now, there are many interpretations for why this happens, and honestly, I don't care about other people's interpretations. For me, this demonstrates a flaw in the matrix. I've seen it so many times to the point where I'm convinced it's my higher self telling me to stay awake, not to get lost in the illusion. Despite teaching the law and sharing spiritual teachings with you on this channel, I often find myself lost in the illusion. That's the nature of immersion in this simulation, to the point of completely forgetting who we really are. I think my inner self has decided to show me the 1, 1, 1, 1 to bring me back to the knowledge of who I am. Many frequent coincidences are no coincidence at all. The existence of black magic shows that mind dominates matter. Shamanism, black magic, voodoo, and similar practices have existed for centuries, if not millennia. Contrary to the modern interpretation of scientism, I do not believe our ancestors were primitive. On the contrary, they were more spiritually and technologically sophisticated than we give them credit for. The Great Pyramids of Egypt are one irrefutable example of this. All this to say that the shamans and black magicians of the past were not intellectually primitive in practicing something that, according to science, shouldn't work. A true magician knows the reality of the invisible ether, an amorphous substance that permeates our reality. Napoleon Hill talked about this in Think and Grow Rich. This ether is a neutral field full of potential and responds to the commands of a soul filled with a burning desire to achieve something. The quantum field of infinite potential responds to the observer. The fact that dark magic exists to this day is a testimony that it has some substance, or else it wouldn't work. Otherwise, man loses interest. Unless he's insane, that's human nature. What's the placebo effect anyway? We can't explain how a person healed from an illness even when given a fake medicine. Let's call it the placebo effect. I mean, that term doesn't explain anything. The placebo effect is not one of the best examples of mind over matter, where a person believes the medicine given to them will heal them. That strong intention is presented to the ether of unlimited potential, which then responds with healing. Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, makes a similar observation. All religions and beliefs have people who have been healed by their respective spiritual healers, whether in the temple, mosque, church, or any other place. Who did the healing? For the gods of all religions, in their fundamental definition, cannot all be right simultaneously. Do you see the flaw in the plot? The placebo effect and healing through faith put us in this strange situation where we must accept the notion that this reality may not be as consistent and natural. Therefore, mind over matter is the only answer. There is an extraordinary synchronicity in the events that occur in our lives, suggesting a hidden web of connections beyond what we superficially perceive. It's as if the universe is trying to convey messages to us, guiding us towards something greater. The constant presence of repeated numbers, like 1, 1, 1, 1, is just one among the many indications of this underlying intelligence. While some dismiss such events as mere coincidence, others recognize in them a revealing pattern that defies conventional understanding. Throughout history, countless mystical practices and rituals have been performed to access realms beyond the material reality. Mastery of the mind over matter has been an ongoing quest for many, leading to the discovery of techniques and profound knowledge that defy the logic of the physical world. These ancestral efforts reflect the belief in the existence of an inner power that transcends the perceived limitations of the outer world, a belief that resonates through time and cultures. If mind over matter is true, proving the objectivity of this reality is as complex a problem as string theory, perhaps even impossible to solve. And it could be that modern science is struggling to prove gravity, string theory, dark matter, reconciling quantum physics with Newtonian and other advanced theories because they are based on the false premise that we live in a solid natural world. This is how predictive programming works. Rituals are very important to the elites, as they are programming templates. They can induce a state of receptivity in the masses, if performed upon them or on the practitioner themselves, to manifest their desire. An example is the 2012 Olympics ceremony related to the 2019 virus hoax, and all of this will make sense. Rituals use subliminals to penetrate the unsuspecting victim's subconscious mind, meaning the victim doesn't know they're participating in a ritual or predictive programming of a future event for the masses to suffer. They need to keep it artistic and subliminal to pass through the conscious minds of the masses and plant the seed. You give your consent and your ignorance. That's why you're not expected to know this or anything of value about this reality. School education is a joke. News is filled with fear, because the depressed and scared mind is the perfect vessel for mind control, and religions are the perfect tool to keep you spiritually enslaved, beyond intellectual slavery, for one unique reason: to keep the masses subservient. They don't want you to know this because it goes against the Creator's will and is in open rebellion against it. They need energy, and beyond the divine energy of the Creator, which is freely available to those who are connected to it, you, the immortal, are the energy source. You provide them with the desperately needed energy to continue ruling this world. They need to manipulate the immortal into believing they are insignificant in the infinite cosmos, that life is inherently meaningless, and that the pursuit of pleasure is all there is. Once they have stripped you of your true identity as immortal, you're practically finished, for you lose the ability to be your own source through active co-creation with the divine. So, you can be programmed to be anything. An ordinary individual who is a source of divine energy, but who doesn't use it for themselves, is being used by people like Albert Pike to steer the course of human future toward the end they deem desirable for them. The immortal thinks death is the end, so they fear it and are controlled by those who know better. Individual reality versus collective reality. Collective reality is under the control of a few, as many are unable to think for themselves and identify the manipulative tactics of the established powers. Examples are the ongoing fraudulent wars at this very moment. Anyone with a modicum of critical thinking will see that these wars are simply cruel and unnecessary. Wars are only about money and power. They have nothing to do with religion, nationalism, or any noble cause. They feed you to agree with their strategy, but men go and die for wrong reasons, thinking they are doing the right thing. Common individuals are nothing more than the masses. Therefore, collective reality will always move in the direction that benefits the few and harms the many, until the masses start awakening. This is happening now at a rate for which the world is not prepared. All knowledge is within reach of those who seek it on the internet to understand what is happening. Therefore, many people are finding out. But let me simplify for you. If you stop participating in the elites and your government's games and stop relying on them, they will cease to exist in their current form. Therefore, the best way to save the collective is to save the individual. Start with yourself, apply the law of assumption, and create the perfect life for yourself and your loved ones. When you start doing great things, others will follow you, for they will be curious to see how you are doing better than them, and that's your chance to spread your light. The ether that permeates this existence is neutral. It will give you whatever you project into it. It's a creative field of infinite potential, waiting for the individual to project an intention into it. So use your imagination to manifest from the ether all the lovely things you desire, And by doing so, you'll free yourself from the collective's destiny, and will certainly attract some individuals from the collective to follow you. This world is like an amusement park, a dramatic divine play where each individual is engaged in a game, a unique experience. Here, the fundamental purpose is to understand the power of word and thought, attributes that equip us with immortals, as taught by Hermes. We are immersed in the illusion of mortality, but the essence of the game is to awaken to immortality, using these gifts consciously. By applying the law of assumption in our daily lives, through words and imagination, we transcend the limitations of the mortal world. This process leads us to equality with the immortals, and it is at that moment that the promise is fulfilled. We will not return to this earthly experience after the game is completed. Therefore, we must avoid getting lost in the illusions created by distinctions of race, nationality, religion, politics, and war, all of them manufactured by the established powers. The strategy of divide and conquer is widely used, for a minority can only dominate over the majority if it is disunited and misinformed. By exercising our gift, we come closer to our true essence, immortality. Thus, the time has come to awaken, O immortal. In summary, by recognizing the crucial role each one plays in creating collective reality, we can begin to unravel the veils of illusion and manifest a world more aligned with our true nature. The journey toward the awakening of the immortal self is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment that frees us from the shackles of limitation and enables us to live in harmony with the divine. May we all continue to explore our potentials, share our light, and inspire each other on the journey of consciousness. I thank you for joining this quest for truth and awakening. May we walk together toward the realization of our highest potential. Until our next video.